The mysterious purple-clothed woman suddenly opened her eyes. She had found a clue. That was really fast. She was really surprised. Although she had sent her younger brother and her subordinates down. However, there were still no clues. However, she was not in a hurry. How long had it been? Not even a year had passed. How could they possibly find any clues? She didn't expect that she would actually get a clue now. Their minds were connected. The power of the formation was beyond imagination. The purple-robed lady's eyes flickered. At the same time, she snorted coldly. This nine-headed lion was really overbearing. It directly controlled the people of the ninth layer of heaven. Therefore, no news could be spread. She looked into the distance and smiled. Fortunately, I have a younger brother down there. I think the other old monsters still don't know the news, right? The purple-robed lady planned to act quickly. She stretched out her jade-like hand, and a purple vortex appeared. World Creation Mountain, an ancient and mysterious altar. The four Earth Immortals were still fighting with all their might. At this moment, a purple vortex suddenly appeared. Then, a palm fiercely slapped down. The formation began to shake violently. The power of the fifth Earth Immortal. Everyone was shocked. Who was it? The other Earth Immortals were also stunned. Zixian smiled. Sister, you're finally here. Damn it, how could this be? Eagle God's expression changed. The nine-headed lion also frowned. He stared at Zixian with killing intent in his eyes. However, at this moment, a cold voice came from the vortex. Nine-headed lion, if you dare to make a move on my brother, I will kill you even if I cross worlds. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, two more spatial cracks appeared in the surroundings. Following that, terrifying lightning bolts and a terrifying storm swept towards the formation. Suddenly, the formation shook violently. Were there more Earth Immortals? The expressions of Eagle God, and the others turned completely ugly. In this way, the three brothers had no advantage. Even Ziyin was angry. You know about it too. An old voice came from the lightning storm. Ziyin, we know that you have a younger brother in the lower realm. So, we have been watching your movements. When you made your move, we knew. Everyone, let's break the formation together. The nine-headed lion and the others had no choice but to agree. This time, there were 7 Earth Immortals. The power was much higher than before. They attacked together. The formation shook violently as if it couldn't hold on at all. The runes kept shattering. Lin Xian was both happy and worried. He was happy that Xian's sister had finally made a move. However, there were 2 more Earth Immortals. In this way, would his plan succeed? After all, he didn't plan to suppress so many Earth Immortals. However, after watching for a while, he heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 6296. Mysterious patterns appeared on the bodies of the Earth Immortals. They looked like the patterns of stones. Their bodies were about to turn into statues. The nine-headed lion roared angrily and used all its firepower to block the attack. They quickly retreated. The other Earth Immortals did the same. They even burned their immortal chi and divine fire without any regard for their lives. They were really afraid. The light from the eye of immortality was called the light of immortality. Once they were enveloped by it, they would be petrified and turned into stone men. At that time, it would be difficult for them to even move, and their strength would disappear. So now, even if they risked their lives to damage their foundation, they couldn't stay here. They had to escape. Don't you think it's too late to escape? At this moment, a sneer was heard. The voice was very young. Who was it? Eagle God roared. Purple Immortal also roared. But in the next moment, they were stunned. It was Lin Xian's voice. He suddenly turned his head. Lin Xian sneered. Kid, do you want to die? Even we can't resist it, let alone you. Big brother, kill him? The nine-headed lion's face turned cold, and he wanted to attack. But at this moment, Lin Xian's back split open. A palm appeared behind him and suddenly grew larger, covering the sky and the earth. It was a huge hand, the hand of immortality. Its appearance immediately shrouded the entire sky. It sealed off all the Earth Immortals' escape routes. Damn it, why do you have the hand of immortality? The nine-headed lion roared crazily. One of his heads was instantly shattered, and blood splattered everywhere. Not only that, his scalp went numb. He felt that he had fallen into a trap. You really tricked us. The other Earth Immortals also understood and gritted their teeth. They had fallen into a trap. That's right, they had fallen into a trap. All of you had fallen into my trap. After saying that, the hand of immortality behind Lin Xian became even more terrifying. Go to hell. The Colossus roared and stomped on Lin Xian, crushing Lin Xian's body. He was finally dead. Little ant, go to hell. They roared crazily. Killing Lin Xian would relieve the hatred in his heart. Although they were smiling, their expressions were extremely ugly. With the immortal hand and the immortal eye, there was no way they could escape. In the end, these land immortals screamed in despair. In fact, the body of the Colossus collapsed directly. The soul wanted to escape, but it was useless. Under the gaze of the undying eye, stone patterns began to appear on their bodies. Gradually, they turned into statues. Damn it! In the sky, the three Earth Immortals of the ninth heaven also roared. Their outstretched hands were completely petrified. Furthermore, this power was still spreading throughout their bodies. They hurriedly retracted their palms and defended themselves. This scene was extremely terrifying. Unfortunately, Purple Deity's sister only had one arm petrified. If she was completely petrified, he would have one less enemy when he went to the ninth heaven. However, this kind of result was already very satisfactory. At least, the immortal hand was very satisfied. If it wasn't for Lin Xian's help, he could at most beat these Earth Immortals away. However, it was impossible to completely petrify these Earth Immortals. When these Earth Immortals recovered, they would probably make a comeback. But this time, these Earth Immortals probably wouldn't make a move for a long time. It would be very difficult to break through the petrification. Young man, you really did it. The immortal hand's voice sounded. Lin Xian's smile disappeared. Instead, he frowned. He remembered something. When he entered the immortal city, there was a condition. If they failed, the Earth Immortals of the divine realm would be petrified. At that time, he didn't quite understand. But now, when he saw these few statues, he felt a chill in his heart. The so-called petrification of the Earth Immortals was probably the scene in front of him. Lin Xian stood next to the Earth Immortals. He could only feel that these people were still alive. The power in their bodies had disappeared. They couldn't even move. If they were really petrified, then it would be too tragic. Their top fighting strength would disappear instantly. At that time, the otherworld heavenly king would probably attack crazily and destroy the divine realm in one fell swoop. But fortunately, it seemed that the divine realm had the upper hand for now. He was really looking forward to seeing the Earth Immortals of the otherworld heavenly king petrified. Chapter 62-97. Lin Xian was shocked that the immortal realm had such a terrifying power that it could petrify the Earth Immortals. At the same time, he was even more curious. What exactly was the immortal realm? Was it a person or a realm? He didn't know anything, because no one could answer him. These Earth Immortals seemed to be afraid of something and didn't dare to say anything. However, Lin Xian knew that petrification wasn't absolute. Once the petrification was broken, it could be restored again. For example, the war god seemed to have been petrified before, but later he broke the petrification. When Lin Xian saw the war god for the first time, the other party was like a stone monkey. However, in the following battle, the war god was able to make a move. Although there were still stone-like patterns on his body, he had already broken through the petrification. However, the time spent in this process should be very long. Lin Xian asked, "What exactly is this petrification?" The immortal hand said, "It's a very strange state. It's just that we let them feel it in advance." What does it mean to feel it in advance? Lin Xian was taken aback. Could it be that the Earth Immortals would eventually return to the petrified state? The doubts in his heart grew even greater. The immortal hand said, "Young man, you'll know when you become an Earth Immortal. Telling you now will only increase your worries. Well, here's what you want." With a wave of the immortal hand, the key flew to Lin Xian. "This is the clue to the immortal token. You really surprised me. Maybe this time you really have a chance to get the immortal token. Good luck." With that, the immortal hand waved again, and a big crack appeared in the sky. Then Lin Xian and the other great emperors who were still alive all flew into the big crack and disappeared. Under the earth of the world creation mountain, peace was restored again. The immortal eye and immortal hand also sank into the earth. It was as if all the battles had never happened. However, there were only a few more mysterious statues. "Damn it!" The Colossus roared. "I actually fell into the hands of a little ant and died with grievances." Purple Immortal also gritted her teeth. "Damn brat, just you wait, my sister will avenge me." The eagle god was silent. Did he fail? The nine-headed lion was even more incredulous. All along, he had thought that he was in control of the entire situation. He had completely disregarded Lin Xian. But now, he had been utterly defeated. Moreover, he had been defeated by a young man. Unbearable! All kinds of crazy roars came from under the ground, shaking the nine heavens. However, that was all they could do. They couldn't take revenge. They couldn't do anything. He could only feel endless regret and despair. Boom, boom. Above the sky of the creation boundary mountain, a huge crack appeared, and then several figures fell down. After these people fell, they were still in a daze. Who am I? Where am I? Instead, he directly rushed towards the Wind Emperor. Boom. The golden fist landed on the other party's body. The Wind Emperor roared furiously and unleashed a terrifying wind armor to defend against the attack. It even formed countless wind blades that slashed forward. An earth-shaking sound rang out, but the Wind Emperor felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He felt that all his armor had been shattered, and all his bones had been broken. How is this possible? So powerful. He opened his mouth, and blood flowed out. He went crazy. How is this possible? The other party was just a great emperor, and he was a super great emperor. He should be able to crush the other party. However, he could feel the terror of the other party's fist. The other party's strength seemed to have surpassed his. It felt so unreal for an early-stage great emperor to defeat him. Boom. It was another golden right fist, and it directly hit the Wind Emperor to the ground. Then Lin Xian stepped on the other party's head, and a biting, cold-killing intent appeared in his eyes. With a point of his finger, the sword Qi pierced through the other party's body. The Wind Emperor let out a miserable roar because he felt that not only was the other party's physique powerful, but also the sword Qi. The sword Qi was even more terrifying. When the sword Qi entered his body, it began to destroy his meridians and immortal Qi. This made him despair. if his immortal chi was torn apart, he would be crippled even if he didn't die. You can't kill me. I'm the disciple of the god of wind. If you kill me, my master won't forgive you. My master is in the ninth heaven, and he hasn't been petrified. So you can't kill me. You don't want to be enemies with an earth immortal, do you? Chapter 6298. The Wind Emperor felt that he was right. The other party would definitely go to the ninth heaven. The other party had already offended several earth immortals. He couldn't offend another earth immortal, right? The ninth heaven didn't have the power of immortality to cooperate with the other party. So this kid definitely wouldn't dare to make a move. After Lin Xian heard this, he laughed out loud. So what if I'm an enemy of an earth immortal? Not to mention you. The 4 earth immortals inside are all my masterpieces. Do you think I'm afraid of you? With that, Lin Xian's sword chi slashed down again, piercing through the other party's body. The Wind Emperor was extremely miserable. His foundation was severely damaged, and his immortal chi was cracking. In this way, even if he didn't die, he would be crippled. Lin Xian formed a sword array, enveloped the other party, and threw him into the distance. Then he turned his head and looked at the people around him. He said coldly, "Who dares to be my enemy?" The others were all scared silly, and their bodies began to tremble. This guy was really crazy. Run quickly. They wanted to escape danger. Lin Xian cut through heaven and earth with his sword. He said, "I told you kowtow and apologize to me, and I'll let you leave. Otherwise, no one can leave today. You're courting death." The others were still angry. Everyone joined forces. With that, they attacked crazily with terrifying power. Lin Xian shouted angrily, "Immortal Senior, please seal the 8th heaven. Even if they escape to the ends of the earth, as long as they are still in this heaven, I will hunt them down." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Xian made his move. The great emperors were no match for him at all. Even the late-stage great emperors were no match for him. As soon as the immortal power was released, it turned into a shocking rainbow, and these people immediately screamed miserably. Although the super great emperor had escaped, Lin Xian still chased after him crazily. He was very fast. In the end, these people had no choice but to say, "Can't we apologize?" They were really on the verge of collapse. Kneel down and apologize. Although they were unwilling, what could they do? Earth immortals would rather die than offend him, let alone great emperors like them. Therefore, they were prepared to kneel down and apologize. However, after kowtowing, Lin Xian said, "That was before. You guys dared to resist just now, so I'm adding more conditions. Cripple your own divine flame and immortal energy, and I'll forgive you all. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." What? Destroy his own divine fire and immortal chi? In your dreams. A great emperor roared. Lin Xian slashed his opponent into 2 halves. At the same time, the power of the immortals erupted from his body. Who is not convinced? He asked in a low voice. "Step forward now, and I'll send him on his way myself." Everyone trembled. What kind of immortal chi was that? What kind of power was this? This kid's aura was too strange. It was completely different from theirs. It was also different from the land immortals. Some of the great emperors were scared out of their wits. With a boom, their immortal energy shattered. In an instant, his cultivation level dropped to that of a supreme. The others had no choice but to do so. In the end, those who were still alive all became supreme beings. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian snorted coldly, "I won't kill you. You guys can leave." These people were no longer a threat. They gritted their teeth and quickly fled. This time, they had indeed fallen. They had to leave this place quickly. There was another reason why Lin Xian didn't kill these people. That was, they were all witnesses. These people had personally witnessed the petrification of the land immortals. Moreover, these were all subordinates of the land immortals. Their status was also extraordinary. It would only be true if these people spread the news. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian took out an array and said to the array, "Senior Heavenly Master, I did it. I got a clue to the immortal token. The seventh heaven, the ruins of the array sect." The Heavenly Master opened his eyes. When he heard the voice coming from the array, his body swayed slightly. Did he really do it? This young man was too extraordinary. At this moment, Lin Xian's voice came from the array. "Senior, I still need you to do something for me. Spread this news throughout Immortal City. Except for the ninth heaven, spread it to the other heavens. Let them know that the guardians and land immortals have all been petrified and no longer pose a threat. Are you worried about the people of the ninth heaven?" The Heavenly Master said, "Don't worry, I'll start now." That's right, Lin Xian was indeed worried. When the people of the ninth heaven knew that the seventh heaven was guarded by the Heavenly Master, they dared to secretly frame him. Now that the land immortals of the other heavens had disappeared, the people of the ninth heaven would hurry to support their own people. This way, the land immortals of the ninth heaven would control too much power in Immortal City. Lin Xian wouldn't allow this to happen because it was a huge threat to him. Therefore, he spread the news in advance and let the emperors of each heaven start fighting each other. This way, the people of the ninth heaven wouldn't be easy to control. When the news spread, the entire Immortal City was shocked. The people of the sixth heaven were all stunned. What? Purple Immortal disappeared, turned into a statue. The people of the fifth heaven, fourth heaven, and third heaven were all dumbfounded. At first, they didn't believe it. What kind of joke is this? That was a land immortal who could sweep across a world and suppress a heaven. Who could be his match? But soon, they realized that something was wrong. The super great emperors who had left with the land immortals had returned. They were very weak and had even suffered heavy injuries. These people rushed over and asked what had happened. Those injured super great emperors gritted their teeth and told them what had happened. At the same time, they said, it was Lin Xian who did it. They wanted to gather their strength and attack Lin Xian. However, they didn't know that Lin Xian had spread the news earlier. Therefore, when the people of these heavens heard that the land immortals were really suppressed, they were all stunned. Everyone stood there, motionless, their minds blank. After a few days, when these people came back to their senses, they gasped, "Revenge on Lin Xian? What a joke! Was the land immortals strong?" For land immortals working together were suppressed by Lin Xian. Who would dare to make a move? It was too scary, too dreamy. The land immortals had always been the absolute strength that no one could surpass. But now, the situation had changed. After the initial shock and fear, they gradually became greedy. Since the land immortals were no longer around, could they replace them? The land immortals mansion was still there. Could they become the new land immortals? In an instant, some super great emperors rushed over, wanting to snatch the land immortals' treasures. There were more than one person who had this thought. Therefore, a great battle broke out in an instant. Get lost. I am Master's most capable subordinate. Nonsense. I am the disciple of the land immortals. What right do you have to tell me to get lost? Then let's fight. Only the strongest are worthy of the land immortals' treasures. The battles in the other heavens were extremely intense, but the ninth heaven was incomparably quiet. There was no news about Lin Xian here. In fact, they didn't even know what was happening in the other heavens. After all, every layer of heaven had the power of heaven and earth as a fortress that isolated everything. Only by paying a huge price would one be able to cross it. At this moment, the ninth heaven fell into a strange silence. All the cultivators felt a sense of fear, as if a storm was about to arrive. However, no one knew what had happened. Purple Mountain. This was where Ziyan was a sacred place. No one dared to behave atrociously here. The atmosphere in the Purple Mountain was even more solemn. Inside the mountain, there was a terrifying power that permeated the air every day. Ziyan's endless immortal qi condensed and poured into her right hand. Her right hand had become 10 points terrifying. One must know that she was as beautiful as a fairy from the 9 heavens. However, at this moment, her right hand had turned into a stone arm. It was ferocious and ugly. More importantly, her right hand couldn't feel anything. Even if she wanted to cut off her arm, she couldn't grab it. To put it more accurately, her right hand seemed to have been crippled. However, the flesh and blood of her right hand were crippled. Even the part of her right hand that was part of her soul was petrified. There was no reaction at all. How could this be? Damn it! Recover! Ziyan screamed. She tried another method, but it was still useless. In the next moment, she waved her hand, and a few heavenly treasures flew over from afar. Among them, there was a Qilin divine medicine. That medicinal herb had the appearance of a Qilin. Its entire body was emitting a purple light. It was incomparably mysterious. If this medicine was taken outside, it would be enough to make any great emperor go crazy. In fact, even the other Earth immortals would be envious. The Qilin divine medicine split open and fused into the petrified right arm. Immediately, the medicinal power bloomed, and the entire arm shook violently. Ziyan held her breath. She was incomparably nervous. She didn't know if she could recover. The purple light on her right arm became more and more terrifying. The phantom of a purple Qilin roared towards the sky, shaking the 9 heavens. However, in the next moment, these phantoms disappeared without a trace. Her entire right hand was completely unresponsive. Damn it, how could this be? I don't believe it. With a wave of her hand, she took out another crystal. This crystal was as big as a millstone. It was crystal clear. This was a spiritual liquid of heaven and earth. It was a spiritual liquid that had been condensed for millions of years. It was enough to bring a great emperor back to life. Even if an earth immortal was severely injured after eating a piece, he would be able to instantly recover his qi and blood. This was a rare treasure. Chapter 6300. The 3 earth immortals were furious. They wanted to catch Lin Xian and make Lin Xian suffer a fate worse than death. Who would have thought that they would fall into the hands of a little ant? However, Lin Xian had not arrived at the 9th heaven yet. Moreover, they did not publicize this matter with great fanfare. After all, this matter was really too embarrassing. If word got out, it would be a slap to their faces. There was another reason. In the 9th heaven, other than the 3 of them, there were other earth immortals. If others knew that the 3 of them were injured, perhaps someone would sneak attack them. Therefore, the 3 of them were in seclusion in their respective places and did not go out. Even their subordinates did not know that the 3 of them were injured. However, they still ordered their subordinates to quickly find Lin Xian. Once Lin Xian appeared, they would immediately kill him. For a time, the undercurrent of the 9th heaven surged. After Lin Xian obtained the immortal key, he began to head to the 9th heaven. There were already people lurking at the entrance of the 9th heaven. These were the subordinates of the 3 earth immortals. One of them was barehanded. One of them was holding a thunder sword. The other person carried a black box on his back. That box was 2 meters long and 0.5 meter wide. It was extremely mysterious. No one knew what was inside. There were many figures in the surroundings. Even the array formation had appeared, covering the sky and earth, waiting for the enemy to arrive. However, after waiting for a few days, someone became impatient. He frowned and said, "Will that person come? I don't think he has the guts to come to the ninth heaven. Maybe we are wasting time here." "Shut up. If the Lord said he will come, then he will definitely come. Wait patiently," the leading great emperor said in a deep voice. The others did not speak anymore. They waited silently. Buzz. Finally, a figure appeared on the horizon of the ninth heaven. "Is he here?" The eyes of the three leaders burst out with extremely cold light. "I will come and meet him." A man in a green robe walked out. He was the subordinate of the god of Gale. These days of waiting had made him very impatient. He wanted to see who the person that the Lord made him wait for was. The wind and clouds surged under his feet. The green-robed man transformed into a storm and flew forward. When he got close, a flying knife appeared in his hand. The knife flashed and carried a tornado with it. Murderous intent surged as he flew forward. As the saber flew out, the sky fell and the earth cracked. It was the Emperor of Flying Daggers, Dao Wushang. Many people cried out in surprise. Obviously, the person who did this was very famous. The saber did not injure anyone. It was a saber strike that killed someone, yet it did not leave any scars. However, this blade could pierce through the body and soul, sending the enemy to hell. Lin Xian's voice came from the front. "Under the orders of our master, we are here to capture and suppress you." The bare-handed man said coldly, "Since that's the case, you can go to hell." Lin Xian understood that these should be the subordinates sent by the three injured Earth Immortals. "Attack!" The other party gave the order, and immediately 6 figures rushed over. 6 against 1. Even if the other party was a young genius, he would not be able to resist. Boom! Lin Xian slashed down with his sword. The immortal slaying sword turned into a peerless light, and the power of the immortals erupted. The entire sky shattered, heaven and earth darkened, and the sun and moon lost their light. This sword shocked the people on the other side. They realized that they had underestimated their enemy again. They had always been 9th-level genius powerhouses. Except for the Earth Immortals, they did not put anyone else in their eyes. Not to mention, a person from the lower realm had crossed the heavens and earth to come here. Such a person was an ant in their eyes. 6 against 1 was already giving the other party a lot of face. The other party could die with pride. However, when all of this happened, they knew that they were wrong. Moreover, they had no chance to make up for this mistake. The 6 figures in front roared and resisted with all their strength. However, under this sword, their bodies were shattered and blood stained the sky. Some people's pupils were dilated, and their souls were extinguished. At the moment of death, they heard a voice. "Remember, I am Lin Wudi." What an arrogant name, what a terrifying sword technique. The bodies of the 6 people fell from the sky. "Come at me together." Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. On the immortal slaying sword, the emperor's blood dripped, and the biting cold sword intent on it rotated as if it could tear the sky apart. "Come at me together." The 3 powerhouses in the lead said coldly, if it were any other situation, they would feel ashamed. What did they think they were when they ganged up on them? They were peerless powerhouses, but at this moment, they couldn't care less about their face. The person in front of them was too strange, and they had to end the battle quickly. Kill. 17 experts rushed over. This was a peerless powerhouse. Their combat strength was monstrous. Chapter 63:01. Lin Xian took a deep breath. His golden right hand erupted and slapped forward like the hand of a god. The void instantly shattered. The 17 people were shocked. This power seemed to have surpassed the great emperor. Buffed. The two of them were hit by the golden hand. Their bodies shattered and their bones cracked. However, at this moment, the three of them attacked Lin Xian from behind. The terrifying power fiercely blasted onto Lin Xian's body. Boom! Sword chi flew out from Lin Xian's back, turning into two dragon shadows that roared towards the sky. They blocked the attack from behind. Damn it, he actually blocked it. The three of them couldn't believe it. They prepared to attack again. In the next moment, they saw an unbelievable scene. After the two sword chi dragons, tens of thousands of sword chi rushed out from Lin Xian's back, turning into two pairs of sword chi wings. If one looked carefully, they would find that these two pairs of wings were completely formed by dragon shadows. It was overwhelming, as if 10,000 dragons had awakened. How could there be so many? These three peerless powerhouses couldn't believe it. What kind of power was this? No one answered. The three of them were enveloped by the endless sword chi. Then, three white bones fell to the ground. One man and one sword sweeping in all directions. The battle was extremely intense. However, Lin Xian's speed was faster than the great emperor's. No power could get close to him. Instead, Lin Xian's golden right hand and the terrifying killing sword in his left hand. They could continuously pierce through the opponent's body. When the last figure was split apart, the battle ended. Lin Xian was spotless, and sword chi surrounded his body. He was like a golden god, and a peerless sword immortal, as if he shouldn't exist between heaven and earth. However, he really appeared in front of the enemy. Not bad. You guys are very strong. It's been a long time since I had a good battle. Lin Xian's blood was boiling. Indeed, the previous battles in the 7th and 8th heavens were mostly battles with earth immortals. Lin Xian couldn't have a good battle at all. Now, the battle with the 17 peerless powerhouses made his long-dormant blood erupt again. A man wielding a sharp sword swept through heaven and earth. "You fight me." Lin Xian looked at the unarmed man. This person was tall and wasn't wearing any armor, nor was he holding any weapon. His opponent's body emitted a green glow. "My name is Qi Feng, Transcending Emperor, early stage," the tall man said in a deep voice. Then he threw out a punch. Tens of thousands of horses fell silent, and a storm roared. Raging firestorm fist. In the midst of the terrifying gale, there were scorching flames. It was all because of the will of the blade. Their enemies had long been turned into ashes. This group of people had always been successful. It was Qi Feng's famous ultimate technique. Chapter 63:02. Everything was over. The black-robed man said coldly, "The poison in this black box is very terrifying. Even a super great emperor can't resist it." At this critical moment, Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the power of the great dragon sword soul erupted. Boundless sword chi swept out, and a sea of swords flew out. The terrifying sword chi turned into an ocean, causing the entire world to shake. It was as if it could easily split the universe. The two collided, but there was no earth-shattering sound. There was only a low sound, as if ice and snow were melting. However, it was extremely terrifying. The poison that the black-robed man was so proud of was quickly disappearing. How was this possible? When the black-robed man saw this scene, his expression changed. What kind of sword chi was this? Buzz. Just as he was stunned, another sword came, and the sword chi slashed down. The black-robed man hurriedly raised the black box to block it. With a dang sound, a thunderous sound rang out. He was blasted backwards. His hands began to tremble violently, and cracks began to appear on the surface of his black box. The black-robed man gasped. The other party's sword was too terrifying. It was as if a sword god had come back to life. It was terrifying, and he couldn't help but want to kneel down. The two of you are just SOSO. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Boy, you are too arrogant. At this moment, the thunder blade slashed over. The blade was incomparably cold, as if it could split the heavens and earth. Lin Xian waved his golden right hand and blocked the blade. This surprised Lei Yun. His thunder blade was also terrifying, but the other party blocked it with just his physique. What kind of physique was this? Heaven-defying sword technique and physique. Was this really just a great emperor? Even a super great emperor couldn't do it. It seemed that he was going to use his real unique skill. The black-robed man waved the black box in his hand, and it turned into 18 different weapons surrounding him. With a roar, he attacked with all his strength. The black flames shook the stars in the sky. Rumbling sounds fell from the sky, forming a strange phenomenon. At this moment, the sun and moon were dim, and the world was dark. Under the 18 weapons, everything was about to be shattered. Lei Yun also swallowed the thunderblade. The next moment, his whole body erupted with an extremely terrifying light. He turned into a new thunderblade. The pinnacle of lightning destroyed the universe. The strength of the two of them was rising rapidly. Lin Xian also frowned. These two people's trump cards were indeed strong enough to surpass the others. From the looks of it, it was time for him to unleash his true ultimate skill. Great solar indestructible palm. The golden right hand, together with the emperor-level unique skill, struck out fiercely. A palm turned into a star, shining in all directions and raining down thunderbolts that filled the sky. Chapter 63:03. This voice resounded in the sky. The three people fighting in front were all stunned. Lin Xian was overjoyed. This was Qing Qing's voice. Great, Qing Qing had appeared. All this time, he hadn't heard any news about Murong Qing Qing, which made him extremely worried. He didn't expect that Qing Qing would appear in the ninth heaven. The other two super great emperors were also stunned. Who was this person? Was this kid's helper? Thinking of this, they roared angrily, ready to kill Lin Xian in an instant. You're courting death. Murong Qing Qing was completely furious. She flew out of the space channel. The seven-colored light swept through the nine heavens, and the phantom of a phoenix soared between heaven and earth. At the same time, an ancient seal condensed and formed beside her. That ancient seal was only the size of a walnut. However, the aura it emitted was extremely terrifying, causing the entire sky to shake violently. The two super great emperors below felt their hair stand on end. Their figures flickered, and they stopped attacking Lin Xian. Instead, they quickly fled, because the power that appeared was enough to turn them into ashes. After retreating into the distance, the two super great emperors' faces were extremely ugly. They raised their heads and looked up. Who exactly was it? How could it be so powerful? First, they saw a seven-colored phoenix soaring between heaven and earth. What shocked them was that a phoenix, a divine beast of heaven and earth. In the next moment, they saw an ancient seal beside the seven-colored phoenix. The terrifying destructive aura was emitted from that ancient seal. What a terrifying aura! It seemed to have the power of an earth immortal. It wasn't something they could resist. The two super great emperors' faces were extremely ugly. Lin Xian was also surprised. The power emitted by that ancient seal was extremely terrifying. It could indeed threaten the super great emperors. This was a transcendent power. He also had such a trump card, such as the 3 true fire. However, Lin Xian prepared to use it to deal with an earth immortal, so he wouldn't use it before. Moreover, what surprised him was that Qingcheng actually had such a treasure. Obviously, she had also had a fortuitous encounter. That's great. Qingcheng, each of us can deal with one of them, right? Lin Xian asked. Murong Qingcheng said, Brother Lin Xian, you don't have to go through so much trouble. Throw them into the spatial tunnel, someone will deal with them. The super strength emperor was terrifying. Murong Qingcheng knew, even though she had cultivated the immemorial phoenix seal, it was still difficult for her to kill a super great emperor. Even if Lin Xian killed a super great emperor, he would need a long time to use the great dragon sword spirit. From the looks of it, it was impossible to instantly kill a super great emperor. However, it would be a different story if that mysterious woman were to make a move. Therefore, Murong Qingcheng had a new suggestion. Lin Xian was taken aback. Space Channel? From the looks of it, there was a mysterious power inside. Forget it, there was no need to think too much about it. The two of them rushed over. You're courting death. The 2 super great emperors roared. They knew that it was impossible to kill Lin Xian today, so they wanted to retreat. However, Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng didn't give them a chance at all. Lin Xian became one with his sword and turned into a giant dragon that swept across the sky. The dragon attacked fiercely. The sky full of sword chi surrounded the dragon as if it was going to destroy the 9 heavens and 10 earth. On the other side, a 7-colored phoenix swept across the 9 heavens. The dragon and phoenix formed a super powerful vision that swept across the 2 super great emperors. The 2 super great emperors were so shaken that their blood was boiling and their bodies were about to crack. No, although your bloodline is powerful and you have many trump cards, we're not weak either. You can't kill us at all. We're mid-stage super great emperors. The 2 of them were very confident that as long as they avoided the dragon and phoenix attacks, they would find a chance to escape. However, the 2 super great emperors didn't expect that Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng didn't plan to kill each other. Instead, they planned to throw each other into the spatial tunnel. At this moment, the spatial tunnel was about to disappear. They only had one chance. Attack! Lin Xian shouted. The giant dragon flew over and came to Murong Qingcheng's side. It was a true dragon and phoenix attack. A terrifying aura surged into the sky. The thundercloud emperor couldn't block it at all and was sent flying. In the next moment, he fell into the spatial tunnel. The black-robed man quickly dodged. Where do you think you're going? Lin Xian shouted angrily, his dragon sword spirit soaring into the sky. The sword broke the mountains and shattered the sky in the distance. The black-robed man's blood was boiling. You're courting death. He wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Xian now, but he couldn't do it. At this moment, Murong Qingcheng activated his ancient aura, and an even more terrifying destructive power swept out. Another dragon and phoenix attack sent the black-robed man into the spatial tunnel. The black-robed man spat out a mouthful of blood and released a crazy killing intent. Just you wait. You can't kill me. When I break the spatial tunnel and come out again, it will be the time of your death. Buzz. The spatial tunnel closed, and the killing intent that filled the sky also slowly disappeared. Success. Murong Qingcheng heaved a sigh of relief and was very happy. Lin Xian asked, "What's on the other side of the tunnel?" "Don't worry. The 2 of them won't be coming back." Lei Yun and the black-robed man fell into the spatial tunnel and were also teleported. Chapter 6304. Hearing Lin Xian's encounter, Murong Qingcheng was also nervous. This was too legendary. One had to know that the land immortals were high and mighty existences that they looked up to. Even if Murong Qingcheng had this ancient seal now, she wouldn't dare to offend so many land immortals. However, Lin Xian dared to. He had even seriously injured the land immortals and turned a few land immortals into statues. Everything could become a legend. Murong Qingcheng looked at Lin Xian with stars in her eyes. It was too admirable, too legendary. Then, she seemed to have thought of something. "Oh, right, Brother Xian, did you get the divine fruit? I got one here. Let's go find the other longevity fruits." Lin Xian said, "I have 39 here. You have one too. Did you get the first one?" Murong Qingcheng was also stunned. "What? 39? Did I hear wrongly? There are only 49 longevity fruits in total, and most of them are with Lin Xian." Lin Xian was even more delighted. In this way, he and Murong Qingcheng would have 40 together. The remaining 9 were all in the 9th heaven, and no one had obtained them yet. In other words, the other side didn't get a single longevity fruit. This was really great news. This time, the people of the other side wouldn't be able to return. Although it was a random selection, those who could come here were all peerless experts. The fall of one of them was heartbreaking. Such a powerhouse would have been the strongest powerhouse of that era in every previous era. Therefore, even the other side wouldn't be able to withstand the fall of 49 peerless experts at once. And once they failed, the land immortals on the other side would be petrified, and their peak strength would be weakened. The backbone strength would be greatly weakened. The other side was probably in danger. This was a great opportunity for the divine realm. "Brother Xian, what should we do next? Should we go find the other 9 longevity fruits?" Lin Xian said, "Let's go find the immortal token first. I have clues about the immortal token. We have to set off immediately." Because in the 9th heaven, there were 3 land immortals who knew this secret. The enemies from before were sent by them. Now that the mission had failed, it was likely that the land immortal would personally take action. Therefore, we cannot be careless in the slightest. Am I being targeted by the land immortals again? Moreover, they were 3 earth immortals. Murong Qingcheng was extremely nervous. She said, "I have 3 ancient seals in my hand. I wonder if they can hurt a land immortal?" Lin Xian also said, "I still have 2 balls of Samadhi True Fire here. One of them is a divine fire at its peak and can hurt an earth immortal. As for the other one, I absorbed some of it. However, I can still block the attack of an earth immortal. No matter what, we have the capital to contend with the land immortals." This time, Lin Xian was even more careful. There was no other way. When he fought against Yuxian, he worked together with Zhou Tianshi. And in the 8th layer of heaven, fighting against a group of earth immortals was a cooperation with immortal power. This time, they could only rely on themselves to reach the 9th heaven. Therefore, they had to be more cautious. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian took out the immortal key and sensed its aura. Then he said, "This way." They flew into the distance. Not long after they left, Zi Yen snorted coldly. The aura of her subordinates disappeared. Did they fail? What a piece of trash. However, this also meant that the kid was here. "Kid, you can't escape." Zi Yen snorted coldly. In her eyes, there was a purple light that cut through heaven and earth. The entire 9th heaven was enveloped by her soul. Soon, she discovered Lin Xian. Originally, she wanted to make a move. However, when she saw the phantom of a phoenix beside Lin Xian, she was stunned. She didn't know why. She felt a trace of familiar information from this phoenix. She didn't think too much about it. However, with this delay, she felt the power of the other 2 land immortals also enveloping her. The power of these 2 land immortals was the god of wind and the immortal of lightning. These three people had tried to snatch the key in the eighth heaven. As a result, one of their arms was petrified. Unexpectedly, they were working together again this time. Of course, the three land immortals were only cooperating on the surface. In fact, they each had their own formation. These three people all sensed each other's existence, so they didn't make a move. Because once they made a move, it would be a battle between land immortals. At that time, it would alarm the other land immortals, and the situation would become uncontrollable. At this time, Ziyin said through voice transmission, "The two of you, how about listening to me? Say it. If the three of us make a move now, who will win? No one knows. At that time, the other land immortals will be alarmed. At that time, it's hard to say whether we still have an advantage. Why don't we let this kid take the key and search for it? When the immortal token appears, we'll make a move. How about it? You mean to cast a long line, to catch a big fish?" The god of wind also sneered. "No problem, I agree. Anyway, this kid is being watched by the three of us. He can't run away." The three land immortals made a decision in an instant. They wanted to let this kid know what it meant to be a mantis stalking a cicada, unaware of the Oriole behind. Lin Xian didn't know what the three land immortals were thinking. However, he knew that the land immortals surpassed everything. He definitely wouldn't be able to hide his arrival in the ninth heaven for long. Soon, the three land immortals would know. Therefore, he and Murong Qingcheng were flying at a fast speed. They had already obtained some clues from the immortal key. Finally, they flew all the way until they arrived at a mountain range. "It's here." Lin Xian landed and looked around. Then he said, "Qingcheng, why are you still in this state?" There was no need to fight now. Murong Qingcheng forced a smile and said, "Brother Xian, there's nothing I can do. I've only cultivated half of the ancient phoenix spell. I can't recover. However, Master gave me this thing. I think I can hide my aura." After saying that, she put on the bracelet. Then, the seven-colored light on her body disappeared. However, Murong Qingcheng's eyes widened. "It's still a phoenix? Is Master reliable?" In fact, the mysterious woman couldn't be blamed. In the mysterious woman's opinion, phoenixes were common, but seven-colored phoenixes were not. Therefore, as long as she hid the seven-colored phoenix bloodline, nothing else mattered. The other land immortals wouldn't attack a phoenix. "Let's go." The two set off towards the mountain. This was a continuous mountain range, a bit like the world creation mountain of the eighth heaven. There were mountains as far as the eye could see. Moreover, there was a mysterious aura. In the void, the eyes of three land immortals appeared and looked down. Purple Mist said, "This is the Immortal Gaze Mountain. I have meditated here before. However, I didn't find anything else." The god of wind also said, "Could it be that the immortal token is in the Immortal Gaze Mountain? Should we directly attack the Immortal Gaze Mountain?" The lightning immortal said, "Don't. Haven't you been to the Immortal Gaze Mountain? There is more than one land immortal who has cultivated there. I have also cultivated there and stayed there. I found that the king's place is very mysterious. Don't act rashly. The eighth heaven, haven't we suffered enough? If we attract the power of immortality again, we are finished." She knew that there were many experts here, but she didn't expect there to be so many. This was already equivalent to a top sect, but these people were actually willing to live in seclusion at the foot of the mountain. There must be a demon behind this abnormality. I wonder why the old patriarch wants to see me. After Lin Xian arrived, he stared at an old man. This old man was very old. It seemed that he didn't have much time left. "How dare you be so rude to our old patriarch?" Emperor Hanji, who was next to him, shouted coldly. His voice carried a monstrous chill, as if it was going to freeze everything. Lin Xian frowned slightly, glanced at the other party, and then ignored him. It doesn't matter. The old patriarch looked at Lin Xian with a smile. Then he suddenly asked through voice transmission, "May I ask if you're from the outside world? Are you intruders?" Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. He also said through voice transmission, "That's right. Are you here to attack us? Which Earth immortal sent you here?" The old patriarch was also stunned. The person in front of him had offended an Earth immortal. He was really bold. However, he also knew a little about the intruders. These people were originally very terrifying, and they wouldn't stay here forever. If they offended an Earth immortal, they might leave alive. He no longer cared about this matter. He said, "I don't care about your grudge with the Earth immortal. I only want to ask you, do you want to enter the Immortal Gaze Mountain?" "That's right." Lin Xian nodded. "Are you going to stop me?" The old patriarch said. "No, because we also want to enter the Immortal Gaze Mountain. I want to join forces with you. I even want you to lead us there." Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. The surrounding people were also stunned because at this moment, the two of them were talking through voice transmission. They couldn't hear anything at all. Did the old patriarch know the other party? Why was the old patriarch talking through voice transmission? Was there something he wanted to hide from them? Chapter 6306. The atmosphere in the immortal-seeking village was a bit strange. Everyone stared at Lin Xian, wanting to know what he was talking about. Lin Xian frowned slightly. After a moment of silence, he said, "Why do you believe me? We don't know each other, do we? Are you so sure that I have no ill intentions?" The old patriarch sighed and continued to transmit his voice. "Young master, this might be your first time here, right? You have no idea how dangerous the Immortal Gazing Mountain is. There are miracles here. Moreover, there are even more unknown dangers. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, I went there once. At that time, I was already at the late stage of the Supreme Emperor realm. I wanted to break through and become a land immortal. However, no matter how hard I cultivated, I couldn't condense the third immortal energy. I even despaired. Later, I knew that there was hope in the Immortal Gazing Mountain. So I went in. However, I was attacked when I was there. Who was the one who attacked me? I don't know. That time, I was seriously injured. Only one of the people who went in with me came back alive. The rest were all dead. He came back with me, who was seriously injured. From then on, I recuperated at the foot of the mountain. After hundreds of thousands of years, the immortal-seeking village was established. During this period, we also entered the mountain once. However, we also suffered heavy losses. The Immortal Gazing Mountain is too dangerous. This time, although we have prepared for another 100,000 years, it can be said that we are fully prepared. However, can we succeed? I'm still not sure. Moreover, over the past hundreds of thousands of years, I have also collected countless information. There is a saying that intruders may have a higher chance of success. Therefore, when I knew that you were an intruder, I had already decided that we must ask you to lead us in. What are your conditions? You can name them as you wish. There was actually such a thing. What danger is there? Lin Xian was surprised. However, the old man said, "Unknown danger. I was injured by an unknown creature." It was stranger than he had imagined. However, this immortal gazing mountain was a place where there might be immortal tokens. No matter how strange it was understandable. Anyway, he was going to go in. It didn't matter if he brought the people of the immortal-seeking village in with him. Therefore, Lin Xian nodded and said, "I can go in with you. What is your request? I have weapons, pills, cultivation manuals, and so on. I don't need them. I want your cultivation experience, especially when you break through. No problem. The old patriarch took out an ancient storage ring and placed it in Lin Xian's hand. He said, "It's inside." Lin Xian probed it with his soul. Indeed, he discovered that there were many stone tablets inside. On these stone tablets, there were mysterious traces of the great Tao. These were the insights and insights of the old clan chief, and could be said to be incomparably precious. Although both parties were working together and taking what they needed, Lin Xian still felt that this gift was too valuable. He originally thought that the other party would only give him the cultivation insights of the great emperor realm. He didn't think that the other party would give him the cultivation insights of a transcendent god emperor too. This way, when he cultivated, he would receive a lot of inspiration, and his cultivation speed would also increase. Lin Xian put it away and said, "Don't worry, old patriarch. I will definitely come back alive after entering Mount Wangxian. At that time, if it's possible, I'll see if I can heal your injuries." Hearing this, the old patriarch's body trembled, and a glimmer of hope appeared in his eyes. However, it soon dimmed again. It had been hundreds of thousands of years, and there had been no hope. This time, there probably wasn't much hope either. However, he still said, "Thank you, young master." The surrounding people were even more confused. What was in the storage ring? Just as they were guessing, the old patriarch spoke. He didn't send a voice transmission, but his voice was transmitted to the surroundings. He said, "This time, our immortal village will work together with two geniuses to enter Mount Wangxian. And this time, we have to listen to Lin Gongzi on the way." "What? Listen to him?" The surrounding people were stunned. "It's not a big deal to enter the mountain together, but why do we have to listen to him?" The Grand Elder frowned slightly, but he didn't say anything, although he was very dissatisfied. He glanced at the disciple next to him, Emperor Extreme. Frost immediately walked out and said, "I don't agree. This kid is only a great emperor, and he's in the early stage of the great emperor realm. With such strength, why should we listen to him? I think my master is more suitable. Yes, the Grand Elder is very powerful. He's in the middle stage of the transcendent god realm, and he's almost in the late stage of the transcendent god realm. He's a true peerless master. Only by listening to the Grand Elder can we live. Listen to this kid. We'll probably die soon after we enter. All right, this is my order. Are you ready to return?" The old patriarch shouted coldly again, and his expression became extremely serious. The surrounding people were silent. The old patriarch was highly respected. Who dared to refute him? Young Master Extreme, Frost looked at the Grand Elder. "Master, say something." The Grand Elder shook his head slightly, indicating for his disciple to stop talking. Although he didn't know why the old patriarch changed his mind, there must be a secret. There must be a secret that he didn't know. But so what? He had agreed here. But who had the final say in entering the Celestial Gaze Mountain? Didn't it depend on strength? Chapter 6307. Outside the village, Emperor Frost Extreme looked at Lin Xian and said, "Kid, if you know what's good for you, you'd better apologize to my master. If you follow my master, you will still be able to come out alive. Otherwise, it is very likely that you will inexplicably die in there." His words were threatening. The others also looked at Lin Xian. They snorted in their hearts. Without the protection of the elder, what will you do? However, Lin Xian shook his head slightly and said, "I don't blame you for your ignorance, because you don't know what a real genius is. But for the sake of the elder, I'll warn you when there's danger. Let's go. I'm in a hurry." With that, Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng walked forward. This surprised the others. Young Master Frost Extreme also gritted his teeth. Kid, why are you so arrogant? Just wait. You'll regret it and be afraid. The Grand Elder didn't say anything. After all, he was of noble status and was a supreme emperor. He couldn't go against a young man. However, he was determined to kill him. He promised that he wouldn't save him if there was danger. Take our chariot. Frost Extreme waved his hand, and a chariot appeared, surrounded by a terrifying array. It was a chariot at the level of an extreme weapon. Everyone boarded the chariot. This time, there were 15 people going, including Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng. There were 17 people. Young Master Frost Extreme said, "Sorry, there's no room for you." As he spoke, he raised his chin. Obviously, he wanted to see Lin Xian make a fool of himself. However, Lin Xian said, "Your chariot's defense is not good. It's not even as strong as my body." He waved his hand, and golden flames formed a golden dragon shadow. Then Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng stood on the dragon shadow and walked forward. Wherever the golden dragon passed, all living things would submit to it. It was as if a god had come out. It was dazzling. Everyone was stunned. Doesn't this guy know how to keep a low profile? This is Immortal Gaze Mountain. Aren't you afraid of attracting danger? Emperor Frigid Extreme snorted. Idiot, let's stay away from him. At that time, he would let that kid die first. They felt that Lin Xian was too arrogant. However, they were still too narrow-minded. Lin Xian's next move stunned them even more. Lin Xian stretched out a large golden hand and grabbed at the distant forest like a god. Then he caught a monstrous beast, beheaded it, and began to roast it. Then he released another streak of sword energy, flying into the distance, fetching 9 heavens water, starting to make spiritual wine. This was not just high profile. This was simply arrogant. Not long after, a fragrant aroma wafted over. Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng began to savor the delicacies. Lin Xian said, "I didn't think that the demonic beasts in Immortal City would taste so good." It was different from outside. Murong Qingcheng also narrowed his eyes happily. This woman couldn't stand the sight of a corpse. Was she a vase? She didn't have any strength at all. Wouldn't she be courting death if she went in? But no one reminded them. They even hoped that Lin Xian and the others would be unlucky. That way, they would feel better. A woman in the group said, "Why don't we take Julian's body with us? After all, he is our companion. We came together, so we should go back together." At her words, a few people nodded. Emperor Frost Extreme's face fell. "Idiots," he said. "Juyun's death was inexplicable, and he might even have been poisoned, causing us to touch him now. What if he was poisoned? What if we also die mysteriously? What should we do?" At his words, everyone paled. What should we do? The woman's eyes turned red. "Let's dig a hole and bury him." Hearing Emperor Frost Extreme's words, everyone was in an uproar. A great emperor was buried so casually. This was a peerless powerhouse. Although the first elder didn't say anything, he agreed with the idea. After burying the great emperor, the group continued on their way. This time, no one joked. Their hearts were heavy. It had only been half a day, and the great emperor had died. Who knew what would happen next? Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng also continued on their way. They followed behind. In the evening, when the sun set, everyone stopped to rest. He didn't die. He was their comrade. But who was the person who died during the day? At that time, he had personally examined the other party and found that the other party had no soul. Wait, could it be an array formation? Could it be that martial monarch 9 Clouds had fallen into a magical formation? They thought that the other party was dead, but in fact, the other party wasn't. Therefore, His situation is a little strange. However, you are indeed the Jiu Yun that I know. Upon hearing the great elder's words, the surrounding people heaved a sigh of relief. They had unlimited trust in the great elder. The situation here naturally attracted the attention of Murong Qingcheng. Murong Qingcheng took a look and immediately woke up Lin Xian. Brother Xian, something is wrong. The dead martial monarch is alive again. Lin Xian woke up from his meditation. He looked forward and his pupils shrank. In the next moment, he used his Rinnegan. The power of the 6 paths of reincarnation enveloped the front. He didn't find anything strange. This person was really the same as before. However, his instincts told him that this was absolutely impossible. At this moment, the 6 paths of reincarnation started to spin rapidly, forming a defensive rune. There was a problem. Lin Xian stood up and said coldly, "Kill this person immediately." Everyone was in an uproar when they heard this. Great Emperor Frost Extreme also said, "Kid, do you want to be enemies with us? I've long found you an eyesore. If you want to attack, we don't mind attacking together and killing you." The great elder's expression was also cold. "Young man, enough is enough. I've already given the great elder face by bringing you here, but don't go too far." Lin Xian pointed at Jiu Yun and said, "He's not one of you. He's very strange. He's already dead. Have you all forgotten? He's not dead. Is he one of us? It's not your turn to teach me a lesson. I'm almost at the late stage of the Transcendent Emperor realm. I've walked more paths than you have." Great Emperor Frost Extreme sneered. "My master has lived for hundreds of thousands of years. His experience far surpasses yours. Don't embarrass yourself here. Bear the consequences." After Lin Xian finished speaking, he ignored him and sat back down. Humph! What consequences? Isn't Jiu Yun still alive? Everyone didn't think much of it. Nothing happened that night. The next day, everyone continued on their journey. However, this time, the mountain range in front of them separated into several valleys. It was time to make a choice again. The great elder and the others began to investigate carefully. Jiu Yin also came over, his palm close. There was an important reason why they left Jiu Yun behind. He was not only a great emperor, but also a formation master. A very powerful formation master. Therefore, during the entire process, they urgently needed the power of 9 clouds formation. For example, Jiu Yun was currently investigating the 3 valleys. Which one was the safest? 2 hours later, Jiu Yun said, "The one in the middle." The great elder didn't act immediately. He was very cautious. He wanted to investigate it himself. After another hour, he nodded, "There's no danger." Lin Xian followed behind, silent. Suddenly, someone laughed. "Lin Gongzi, don't you have a lot of ideas? Why aren't you talking now?" They looked at Lin Xian proudly. Lin Xian said coolly, "It doesn't matter which valley I choose. Even if there's danger, I can handle it. But you might not. I advise you to choose the other 2. It's safer for you." Who do you think you are? An early-stage great emperor kid dares to lecture us? These people didn't believe him at all. In front, Jiu Yun looked at Lin Xian. Although he was expressionless, in Lin Xian's eyes, he suddenly grinned. It was a very strange smile. However, only he saw this smile. The others didn't notice it at all. "Interesting. Provoking me? I want to see what kind of monster you are." Lin Xian chuckled coldly. He too followed the crowd and entered the valley in the middle. The people of Immortal-Seeking Village all laughed. "I thought this kid was very powerful. He actually followed us. Of course, without us leading the way, how could he pass? Ha! If he entered the other valleys alone, he would probably die instantly." These people started to look down on Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian noticed that Great Emperor Jiu Yun kept looking back. He gave him a strange smile. Chapter 63:10. Did you see that? Lin Xian asked Murong Qingcheng. Murong Qingcheng froze. What? Lin Xian sighed. Even Murong Qingcheng didn't notice it. It seemed like he was the only one who noticed it. Was he being targeted? To others, Great Emperor Nine Cloud was very normal. Not only was he normal, but he was also working very hard. He was walking next to the Grand Elder, next to Emperor Frigid Extreme, and constantly emanated the power of spell formations as he scanned the area. With the Great Emperor, Array Master, leading the way, they were absolutely safe. Everyone was relieved. Great Emperor South Pole also felt bad. He patted Great Emperor Nine Cloud's shoulder and said, "Brother, I'm sorry." It was a kind apology, but Emperor Frost Extreme's expression changed. Because when he patted Nine Cloud's shoulder, he realized that his opponent's body was very cold, like 10,000-year-old ice. Frost actually formed on his hand in an instant. Moreover, it seemed like it wanted to freeze his body. This was too unbelievable. Emperor Frost Extreme was an ice great emperor, and he cultivated Frost Immortal Chi. Great Emperor Nine Cloud was an Array great emperor, and his Frost Immortal Chi couldn't compare. But now, Emperor Frost Extreme's body trembled. How could his opponent's Frost Immortal Chi be so terrifying? At this moment, Great Emperor Nine Cloud turned around and smiled. "You're too polite. We're brothers. How could I blame you?" After saying that, he revealed a strange smile. When Extreme Han Dali saw that smile, he felt his hair stand on end. He wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Crack! Great Emperor Nine Cloud's body suddenly exploded with black light, covering Emperor Frost Extreme's left hand. With a boom, Emperor Frost Extreme's left hand was cut off. Blood dripped, and the ground cracked. "Ah!" Emperor Frost Extreme screamed, and retreated. "Damn it, you dare to attack me? You're not Nine Cloud." He roared crazily. This scene was too sudden, to the extent that no one could react in time. By the time they came back to their senses, Emperor Frost Extreme had already lost an arm. Not only that, Nine Cloud's black light attacked Emperor Frost Extreme again, as if to kill him. "Master, save me." Emperor Frost Extreme was terrified. He could feel a powerful force enveloping him. "You're courting death." The Great Elder was right in front of him. He suddenly turned around and punched out. The power of a super great emperor sent the black light flying. At the same time, another palm slapped over, wanting to suppress Jiu Yun. Now, the Great Elder realized that he was wrong again. He had been slapped in the face by reality. Jiu Yun was not normal. He was not one of them. Lin Xian was right once again. However, he couldn't care less. He had to suppress the other party first. However, Jiu Yun smiled. The strange smile on his face was once again reflected in everyone's eyes. Lin Xian wasn't the only one who saw it. Chapter 63:12. Lin Xian's eyes shone with confidence. Others might be frightened, but not him, because he could see that he was familiar with the power of these palms. They were immune to mystiques. That's right. In the third level of heaven, when attacking the Fey God's tomb, he encountered a guardian. At that time, the guardian beast was immune to all mystiques and array attacks. At that time, everyone was in despair. Only Earth immortals with superior cultivation, realm strength, could crush it. However, Earth immortals could not attack, so no one opened the Fey God's tomb. It was not until Lin Xian came out that he defeated the guardian beast. Now, the situation of this giant palm was very similar to that of the guardian beast. It ignored the super great emperor's attack because it was a mystique attack. It was also immune to mystiques and immortal spells. Against such a thing, one could not use any mystiques and immortal spells. One could only attack with pure strength. However, these people obviously did not understand. These unparalleled experts were scared out of their wits. Lin Xian used his dragon-shaped sword chi to send the two palms flying. He protected Murong Qingcheng. When the others saw this scene, they were stunned. They could not do anything against these palms. However, Lin Xian could do it. They all looked at Lin Xian. "Young master, save me." Even the first elder at this moment said in horror, "Young master, I was wrong before. Please save me, okay?" The first elder realized that he could not resist this palm at all. His throat was about to be crushed. If no one saved him, he would most likely end up like Emperor Frost Extreme. Was it not too late to beg for mercy now? Lin Xian snorted. He ignored the first elder and the others and looked into the void. He said, "Come out. I know you're here." "Ha ha ha. Interesting. Someone can resist my mystique and immortal spell immunity. Young man, who are you?" A loud laugh rang out. Then a figure appeared in front of everyone. When they saw this person, everyone was stunned. Even Lin Xian's expression changed. The reason for that was because this person's body was actually broken. It was as if he was a broken piece of porcelain. However, they seemed to be bound together by some kind of power. Looking from afar, this person's body was full of cracks. Blood was rolling in those cracks, but it didn't flow out. What was even more shocking was that this person's aura was extremely terrifying. He was definitely stronger than a super great emperor. He was an earth immortal. "Senior, please spare me." Upon seeing this, the first elder and the rest of the peerless experts immediately dropped to their knees and begged for mercy. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. There was actually a land immortal on Immortal Gaze Mountain. What a surprise! However, at this moment, something even more shocking happened. A black lotus quietly bloomed between heaven and earth. This black lotus actually wanted information about the land immortal. The moment he appeared, he immediately charged towards Lin Xian. Black lotus again. Lin Xian felt his blood run cold. He roared, took out the purple gourd, and smashed it into the sky. The true Samadhi fire came out of the purple gourd. It bloomed between heaven and earth like a divine fire, sweeping through the 9 heavens. It blocked Black Lotus's attack. In the next moment, Lin Xian was forced to retreat. He was dumbfounded. This Black Lotus's strength was so terrifying. The last time he dealt with Yu Xian, the true Samadhi fire had already pierced through her. But now, he just blocked Black Lotus's attack. It could be imagined that Black Lotus was much more terrifying than Yu Xian. Black Lotus was surprised. "I didn't expect you to have the immortal fire." His huge figure covered the 9 heavens. Between heaven and earth, a Black Lotus bloomed. Beside him, there were actually 4 strands of immortal chi. The first elder and the others went crazy. Even Lin Xian and the others gasped. 4 strands of immortal chi. How was this possible? One had to know that an earth immortal only had 3 strands of immortal chi. The earth immortals that Lin Xian had seen before all had 3 strands of immortal chi. 4 strands of immortal chi. What level was this? Was he still an earth immortal? It was really unbelievable that there was such a terrifying person in the 9th heaven. More importantly, this thing was related to the Nirvana realm. "You are from the Nirvana realm." Lin Xian gritted his teeth and asked. At this moment, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared. Lin Xian held the immortal slaying sword, ready to fight at any time. He also had the true Samadhi fire on him. Murong Qingcheng also snorted coldly, and a seven-colored light bloomed on her body. She also held the ancient phoenix seal in her hand. The two of them were facing a formidable enemy. Black Lotus looked down from above. Although he was a plant, he was like the ruler of heaven and earth at this moment. He stared at Lin Xian and said, "You are an intruder, and by the looks of it, you should be from the realm of the gods. I didn't expect that a top genius like you would appear in the realm of the gods. Unfortunately, your path ends here. Today, you will definitely die." A murderous intent condensed on Black Lotus's body. Suddenly, it shocked heaven and earth. The first elder and the others almost fainted. They couldn't resist this power at all. Boom! Black Lotus bloomed, and the black petals danced, sweeping through the 9 heavens. Everywhere it passed, everything turned into ashes. The first elder and the others were in despair because they were affected by this power. In the next moment, their bodies were instantly torn apart. The first elder, a super great emperor, couldn't even resist at this moment. It couldn't be helped. The other party had 2 more strands of immortal qi than him. Chapter 63:14. Fan Shun trembled with excitement. What kind of power was this? It was the power he had been dreaming of. It was the power of an immortal, and it was a perfect fusion of immortal power. How could it be? Was there really such an incredible person? His face was filled with astonishment. Lin Xian said, "Senior, my name is Lin Xian, and I am from the realm of the gods. I have gathered the power of an immortal. Senior, do you want to know the secret of this power? Help me stop them and let me in safely, and I will tell you." Okay. Fan Shen paused for a moment, then nodded. He wanted the immortal token because he wanted to go further, but he found that it was difficult to go further. But now he changed his mind. The complete power of an immortal was more attractive to him. Maybe he could complete a new transformation. Thinking of this, he nodded and said, "Boy, I hope you keep your promise." "Senior, don't worry. I will keep my promise." Buzz. All of a sudden, the void tore apart as a black lotus swooped down at Lin Xian, wanting to devour him whole. However, with a wave of his hand, mortal God sent the black lotus flying. He said coldly, "Black Lotus, don't play tricks in front of me. You are not worthy." "Damn it," Black Lotus roared. "Are you an idiot? Catch this boy. We will explore together, get the immortal token, and study it together. As for the power of an immortal, you can catch this boy and study it carefully. If you can't, you can take his soul, pull out his tendons and skin him, extract his bloodline, and study it bit by bit. With our strength, we will be able to figure it out quickly." He was really vicious. No wonder he was from the other world. Lin Xian's face turned cold. He said, "Don't do that. The power of an immortal is very mysterious. As long as I don't want to, no one can figure it out. Young man, don't worry. I am different from him. He is shameless, but I am. So I will not attack you. I just want to make a deal with you. I will help you stop them, and you will tell me the secret of the power of an immortal. What do you think?" "Deal," Lin Xian said. In the next moment, he grabbed Murong Qingcheng's hand. Their fingers were interlocked, and both of their palms were pressed against the bronze key. Only then would Murong Qingcheng be able to see the mysterious bronze gate. He left. Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng's figures flashed as they entered the ground. "You're courting death. Stay here." Black Lotus roared angrily and quickly charged over. He shattered heaven and earth. The 4 strands of immortal qi in his body were enough to destroy everything. However, The mortal god was not afraid. He was immune to immortal spells, so he waved his fists and fought. A deafening sound rang out incessantly. He blocked Black Lotus. The two of them had fought for millions of years and were evenly matched. Now that they were fighting again, it was hard to tell who was stronger. The three of you go and stop that brat for me. I'll reward you handsomely. I will guide you on how to break through, Black Lotus said to Ziyen and the others. When Ziyen and the other two heard this, their faces lit up. The secret to cultivating the fourth strand of immortal chi? Thinking of this, they were overjoyed. In the next moment, they also charged toward Lin Xian in the void. Stay here, brat. Ziyen shot out a terrifying chain of smoke, and the god of lightning was extremely fast. The god of wind waved his hand and cut off the void, blocking Lin Xian and the others' path. Damn it! Lin Xian roared angrily. He took out a purple gourd and shot out the last ball of Samadhi true fire, which surrounded him. On the other side, Murong Qingcheng also roared angrily. She actually shot out two ancient seals. The power of the ancient seals shattered and turned into two primordial phoenixes. They soared into the sky and collided with the three earth immortals. With a boom, Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng vomited blood. They were injured. However, they didn't die. With their powerful trump cards, they blocked the attacks of the earth immortals. Damn it, how could this be? Ziyen and the others were stunned. The earth immortals couldn't kill two great emperors. Black Lotus also roared angrily. Are the three of you trash? He released his killing intent. Ziyen and the others felt their scalps go numb. They said, it's none of our business. He has the power of immortality. We can't resist such power. But don't worry. He only has one chance. We can kill him with the second chance. The three earth immortals were ready to attack again because they could see that the immortal fire on Lin Xian's body was gone. Murong Qingcheng only had one ancient seal left. It was impossible for her to block the next attack. Get lost. At this critical moment, Mortal God made his move. With a wave of his hand, thousands of rotten palms grabbed at the three earth immortals and blocked them. Black Lotus took advantage of this opportunity to kick Mortal God back. Mortal God's face turned pale, and he almost vomited a mouthful of blood. However, he was forcefully suppressed. With a loud shout, he blocked the path like a deity. The whole process happened very quickly. Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng naturally didn't dare to delay. Seizing this opportunity, they instantly disappeared. However, they couldn't find them. Ziyen and the others didn't have the key, so they couldn't see the bronze door at all. Even Black Lotus was so angry that he was yelling, "Damn it, all of you go to hell." Black Lotus covered the sky. Its body swayed, and countless black flowers bloomed between heaven and earth like demons, wanting to devour everything. Ziyen and the others had already run away. Mortal God shouted coldly and attacked with both fists. Black Lotus shouted, "Do you really think your body is immune to everything? Today, I'll let you know my power." Black Lotus rushed over, his roots directly wrapped around Mortal God. He wanted to tear the cracks on Mortal God's body wider. "Boy, I hope you can come out alive." Mortal God glanced at the ground and then roared to the sky. He released his power and stood next to Black Lotus. Ziyen and the others were sent flying and vomited a mouthful of blood. It was too terrifying. These two people's realms were too high. They couldn't get close at all. They could only watch from afar. God of Wind's face was also pale. He said, "I didn't expect Immortal Gaze Mountain to hide such a terrifying existence. Fortunately, we didn't go there rashly." They all retreated from Immortal Gaze Mountain and waited quietly. The whole Immortal Gaze Mountain was shaking. Countless mysterious auras danced in the air, and all kinds of strange phenomena appeared. The people around Immortal Gaze Mountain all looked up at the sky. Were the gods fighting? They trembled in fear. At the foot of Immortal Gaze Mountain, Immortal Village was shaking violently at this moment. The people inside were shocked. The old patriarch leaned on his walking stick, his body swaying. He glanced at Immortal Gaze Mountain, and his heart sank. This kind of power was at least at the level of an earth immortal. The terrifying aura covered the whole Immortal Gaze Mountain. Those who went in couldn't be alive. It seemed that the first elder and Emperor Hanji's men were all dead. The intruder, Lin Xian, should be dead. He didn't expect that those people would be so unlucky this time. The old patriarch sighed and closed his eyes in despair. Let's go and find a quiet place to end the rest of our lives. Perhaps in this life, he would never return to Immortal Gaze Mountain again. He didn't know that Lin Xian was not dead. Not only did he not die, but he also entered the last mysterious door. Chapter 63:15. Lin Xian and Murong Qingcheng entered the mysterious door. He found that there was a unique space inside. Surrounded by clouds and mist, they seemed to be standing above the 9 heavens. There was a huge furnace in front of them, with mysterious runes on it. Inside the furnace, there was a terrifying flame jumping. Lin Xian took a look and immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. He realized that all the flames in the furnace were actually the 3 true flames. Fated person, you're here. Beside the furnace, there was a figure. It was an illusion. It was an old man with white hair and an immortal aura. He was holding a horsetail whisk in his hand. In his left hand was a token with the word immortal written on it. Immortal token. Murong Qingcheng exclaimed. Lin Xian's eyes were also burning. He looked at the illusion in front of him and said, Lin Xian greets Senior. This time, we're here for the immortal token. Senior, what are your requirements and tests? Please tell us. In his opinion, getting the immortal token should be the same as getting the longevity fruit. He had to go through these experts' tests. However, the old man smiled and said, There's no test. You have the immortal key and came here. You're the fated person. The immortal token is yours. The old man waved his hand, and the immortal token immediately came in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian was stunned. It's that simple. However, it wasn't that simple. To be honest, he almost couldn't enter. If it were another person, even an earth immortal, he might not be able to enter. After all, the Black Lotus was an extremely terrifying existence. It was an existence that had cultivated 4 strands of immortal qi. Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian put away the immortal token. With this thing, he could leave with the people of the Oracle. He could even leave with the Heavenly Cycle Master. Lin Xian was very happy. Murong Qingcheng was also surprised. It's so simple. Are they going back? Lin Xian stared at the furnace in front of him. He thought for a while. Then he asked, Senior, can you give me the 3 true fire? After saying that, Lin Xian took out the gourd. The old man's phantom smiled and nodded, Sure. As long as you can take it, you can take as many as you want. Then take it. Lin Xian was even more delighted. He walked over, opened the purple gourd, and began to absorb the 3 true flames. The purple gourd was used to store the 3 true flames. It was definitely a magical treasure. Sure enough, the 3 true fire was so terrifying that it could injure a land immortal's flame, but it couldn't injure the purple gourd. This time, it was not just 3 flames of 3 true flames, but many. Lin Xian found it hard to imagine. Great, I'm rich. However, he knew that according to his guess, This thing should not be able to bring out the 3 true flames, but it was still very useful. Chapter 63:16. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw what was happening outside. In the next moment, he completely closed the mysterious door. Murong Qingcheng was no longer in danger. She had left safely. Next, the other party should be sending a message. As expected, after Murong Qingcheng left, she asked her master to use a divine ability to send a message. All the god realm martial artists in Immortal City could hear it. After the Golden Lion King, Red Feather Emperor, and the others heard the message, they immediately found a place to hide. They knew that Lin Xian had succeeded. He had successfully obtained the immortal token and brought them away safely. What they had to do now was to survive for the next few decades. Great, we have hope. The god realm martial artists were so excited that they were about to cry. Red Feather Emperor and the others were so excited that they jumped up. The Golden Lion King heaved a sigh of relief. He had been fighting all this time. He had suffered some injuries while fighting for the 9-headed lion's treasure, but they weren't fatal. The only thing he was worried about was the longevity fruit. Now that Lin Xian had obtained the immortal token, he didn't have to worry about his life anymore. Next, he could focus on absorbing the treasures left behind by the 9-headed lion. There were still a few decades left. He had to increase his strength. In the ruins of the Array faction in the 7th heaven, there was a mysterious array. This place was even more terrifying than before, even though the formation was gone. Even though the array was gone, no one dared to come here. There were 2 figures here. One was Heavenly Cycle Master, who had been in a daze. The other was Yi Wudao. Yi Wudao was cultivating here. On this day, he heard Murong Qingcheng's voice transmission. He opened his eyes. Did Lin Xian succeed? That's great. He quickly stood up and looked at Heavenly Cycle Master. Senior, he succeeded. Lin Xian succeeded. He found the immortal token. The Heavenly Circuit Master's empty eyes regained their focus and began to shine. Is that true? He looked up at the sky. His gaze seemed to pass through the 9 heavens. He couldn't believe it. Could someone really find the immortal token? Lin Xian took a deep breath inside the mysterious spatial door of Immortal Gaze Mountain. Next, he would have to absorb the 3 true flames with all his might. This process would be very painful. However, Lin Xian knew that this was his only chance. If he left Immortal City, he might never see the 3 true flame again. Go all out. Lin Xian roared and walked towards the furnace. His right hand had already been tempered. Lin Xian's next step was to refine his left hand and the rest of his body. The years of cultivation passed by very quickly. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. The outside world had already undergone earth-shaking changes. The Immortal Gaze Mountain had completely turned into a forbidden land of death. Every day, a terrifying aura lingered in the air. The 2 peerless experts were fighting a great battle, covering everything. No one dared to approach. Ziyan and the others also retreated to an extremely far place, silently waiting. The immortal village at the foot of the mountain had long disappeared. The immortal-seeking village was destroyed, and the people inside had all left. The old clan leader left with despair in his heart. The others were also scattered all over the place. Another 10 years had passed, and the battle between the peerless experts had yet to stop. Finally, 50 years had passed. Many people seemed to have forgotten that the intruders had once been here. However, on this day, someone had ascended to the 9th heaven. This person was none other than someone from the Nirvana realm. She was the 9-tailed fox. The 9-tailed fox was so excited that she cried because there was nothing in the first 8 heavens. There was not a single longevity fruit. That meant that she would die. She would not be able to leave alive. She crazily tried to break through the ninth heaven. Finally, she succeeded. There should be the last few longevity fruits here. Would she be lucky enough to get them? Immortal Gaze Mountain, Black Lotus, and Mortal God also stopped fighting. The two of them had fought for 50 years, and both of them had suffered injuries. It could be said that they were evenly matched. If they continued to fight, it would be difficult to determine the winner even after a few hundred years. However, they did not leave. They waited here for Lin Xian to come out. Black Lotus wanted the immortal token, while Mortal God wanted the power of an immortal. On this day, Black Lotus was stunned. He sensed an aura in the ninth heaven. It was the aura of an intruder. Moreover, it was the aura of the Nirvana realm. Buzz. He made his move. His petals flew through time and space and came to an endless distance. The nine-tailed fox came to the ninth heaven and cautiously searched for the whereabouts of the longevity fruit. Suddenly, the void above her head cracked open. Black petals swept everything and directly enveloped her. The nine-tailed fox was enveloped. She attacked with all her might, but she could not move a single petal. What kind of power was this? Was it the power of an immortal? Was she going to die? She had just arrived at the ninth heaven, and there was hope. Was she going to be so desperate? She did not know. In the next moment, her figure disappeared. When she reappeared, she found that she had come to a ruin. There were countless large black holes around her. There was also a terrifying killing intent in the air. Obviously, a great battle had taken place here. Moreover, it was an unimaginable battle between gods. When he turned his head around, he saw two colossal beings standing there. One of them was like a god, but his body was full of cracks. There was not a single part of him that was intact. This made her scalp tingle, and she was almost scared silly. Who was this person? Just one look from the other party seemed to be able to kill her thousands of times. Beside her, it was even more terrifying. There was an indomitable black lotus that slowly bloomed. There were 4 strands of immortal energy surrounding the other party. She was stunned. The virtual immortals, Master Rashi, and other immortals that she knew only had 3 strands of immortal energy. This black lotus had 4 strands of immortal energy, which surpassed the existence of an immortal on Earth. What level was this? Was she brought here by such a terrifying expert? She was almost scared to death. However, the nine-tailed fox was still a little confused because she found this black lotus very familiar. Why did it feel very similar to the red spider lily on the Permitha realm? Have you heard of the Permitha realm? The nine-tailed fox asked carefully. She was really afraid that she would be slapped to death. The black lotus said coldly, "Nonsense! I am the red spider lily. How can I not know about the Permitha realm? How is the Grand Supreme? Damn, he is actually an expert from the Permitha realm. A supreme expert with 4 strands of immortal energy." She was so excited. The nine-tailed fox cried at this moment. She knelt down and said, "Greetings, ancestor. I am the disciple of the fox immortal. I am the nine-tailed fox." "Fox immortal? You mean Little White, that little fox? Has he become an immortal on Earth? It's really amazing. I remember that he was just a great emperor at that time, right?" The Permitha Black Lotus said, faintly. After hearing this, the nine-tailed fox was even more shocked. The other party called her master a little fox. How high was his seniority? Could it be that he was at the same level as the Grand Supreme? She was even more respectful and kept kowtowing. The Grand Supreme was still recovering. During this period, he had a great battle with the divine realm. "Ancestor, The divine realm is too evil. Patriarch, please take action and destroy them. He had set the time long ago and would not miss the day of his departure. There was still a month's time before they left Immortal City. Was it going to be 100 years? Lin Xian sighed. Time passed so quickly while cultivating. For the past few decades, he had been quietly absorbing the immortal flame. During this period, his body had been shattered several times. However, his hard work paid off. His left hand had also been tempered. Previously, he had tempered a part of it, but this time, both of his hands had been tempered. His strength had become stronger than before. However, the other parts of his body did not appear because it was too difficult to absorb the immortal flame. This was the power of the immortal flame. It was the power that countless experts wanted to obtain. Lin Xian could absorb a little now, which was already very heaven-defying. Senior, I'm leaving. Lin Xian stood up and kept the purple gourd. He looked at the old man in front of him and bowed deeply. The old man's phantom remained there. He looked at Lin Xian and nodded slightly. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He took out the bronze key and opened the mysterious door. In the next moment, he flew out. Outside, Black Lotus was still waiting. He knew that every time an intruder came in, there would be 100 years. Last time, he had asked Nine-Tailed Fox. Calculating the time, it was almost time to leave. If he didn't leave this time, he would stay in the Immortal City forever. That kid would definitely come out. This was his best chance to kill him. Mortal God also knew, so he often paid attention to him. He would not let Permitha Black Lotus succeed. On this day, the ground under their feet cracked again, and a figure walked out. Did he come out? Mortal God was delighted. Black Lotus also rushed over in an instant. Kid, you finally came out. If you have the ability, you can hide for the rest of your life. After you come out, I will immediately make you suffer a fate worse than death. The cold killing intent swept through the 9 heavens again. At this moment, the immortal gaze mountain that had been silent for decades shook violently again. A destructive aura filled the entire planet. Countless people in the middle were shocked again. Was the war about to start again? Even the Earth immortals from before took a deep breath. They stood up and looked into the distance. Did Lin Xian come out? Damn it, I don't dare to go over. Should we join forces? The others hesitated. Let's join forces and go over together. Wind God said. However, Lightning Immortal shook his head. Forget it. Don't get too close. We will guard from afar. Maybe there will be fish that slip through the net. If we get too close, we will be treated as enemies and attacked. I don't want to offend such an existence. Indeed, due to various reasons, they couldn't leave the Immortal City and had to stay here for a long time. If Permitha Black Lotus came for revenge in the future, no one would be able to escape. Young man, it's time to fulfill your promise. Mortal God of the Immortal Gaze Mountain looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded. He had already prepared for this. He took out a light ball. This light ball condensed his immortal power. He threw it to Mortal God and said, Senior, please feel it. Mortal God received it and was shocked. It was indeed immortal power, and so much immortal power. It was definitely released by the other party. This kid really has immortal power. How did you do it? I can't tell you now, because I still have a month before I can leave. Wait for another month. You can take away this immortal power and analyze it slowly. It's enough for you to analyze it many times. As for how I practiced it, I will tell you the moment I leave. I promise to tell you everything, and it's all true. On this point, I can swear on my Tao heart. Okay, I believe you. This kind of oath can't be lied to, no matter how high your cultivation is. Therefore, mortal God believed it. He knew that Lin Xian wouldn't lie to him. He said, I can stop Black Lotus, but there are other Earth immortals outside. I'm afraid I can't help you. A smile appeared on Lin Xian's face as he said, Senior, don't worry. I can handle them. When he said this, his eyes were full of confidence. Chapter 63:18. Lin Xian left. Black Lotus roared, Where do you think you're going? He tried to intercept him. However, mortal God was able to hold his opponent back. The two peerless experts clashed once again. Black Lotus roared and said in a sharp voice, Listen, Earth immortals of the ninth heaven. Whoever helps me catch this kid, I will reward him handsomely. In the next moment, Lin Xian's portrait appeared between heaven and earth. Everyone in the 9 heavens heard this voice. They looked up at the sky in shock. Some martial artists exclaimed, Who is this young man? How could he offend the supreme existence of the immortal gazing mountain? It's unbelievable. However, Ziyan and the other 2 Earth immortals' eyes lit up. It's this kid. Now that he had come out, their chance had come. Judging from the current situation, Black Lotus was restrained and couldn't make a move. But they could. Once they succeeded, they would have many choices. If the Immortal Order really had a shocking secret, they would definitely run away. They wouldn't give it to Black Lotus. Thinking of this, Ziyan and the others quickly rushed over. In the past, in a desolate place, Nine-Tailed Fox also poked his head out. When he saw Lin Xian, he also sneered, Ancestor has issued a kill order. This kid is dead. Because he had already sensed that several Earth immortals were rushing towards the immortal gazing mountain. Therefore, he no longer hid but followed behind. He wanted to see Lin Xian die with his own eyes. In the immortal gazing mountain, a figure quickly rushed out. It was Lin Xian. After Lin Xian came out, he flew into the distance. There was still more than a month left. As long as he could survive this period, he would win. However, at this moment, an indifferent voice sounded between heaven and earth. Where are you going? This voice was filled with endless thunder, causing the surrounding void to shatter continuously. This was the voice of the lightning immortal. Lin Xian felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He stopped. In the next moment, 3 figures appeared around him. The terrifying pressure made it difficult for him to move. They really came. Lin Xian took a deep breath, but he was not afraid. Ziyan said coldly, Kid, I finally caught you. You actually dared to plot against us. I will make you pay the price. Although the 3 Earth Immortals had powerful auras, one of their hands was completely petrified. Since they couldn't use this hand, their fighting strength was greatly reduced. Of course, that was for Earth Immortals. In their opinion, it was a piece of cake for them to deal with a great emperor. Revenge? I think you want the immortal token, right? However, there was only one such thing. Who should he give it to? Why don't the 3 of you fight it out first? Lin Xian said faintly. The god of Gale snorted. Trying to sow discord? It's useless against us. It's too insignificant. They shook their heads and said, It's over. They had no more opportunities for the things on Immortal Gaze Mountain. They even stopped and didn't want to go any further. However, suddenly, a ball of flame lit up in the distance. Then, a scorching aura swept in all directions. Even though they were so far away, they could feel the terror of this flame. As for the other warriors, they were even more terrified. They were already crawling on the ground in fear. What kind of flame was this? It was too powerful. Under this kind of flame, everything would be turned into ashes. Boundless, immortal chi spread out from an old man. He took a deep breath and said with a trembling voice, This is the immortal fire. It has extraordinary power. He was also an earth immortal. With his gaze, he looked through the void and into the distance. He saw a shocking scene. Zi Yan's other arm instantly cracked under the immortal fire, and white bones appeared. Then, the white bones were covered with cracks. Ah! Zi Yan let out a shrill cry, and her expression became incomparably terrified. Retreat, quickly retreat. At this moment, she no longer had any thoughts of seizing the immortal token. She just wanted to escape. Whoosh! Streams of immortal fire rushed over from all directions and landed on Zi Yan's body. The entire space was completely sealed, and Zi Yan couldn't escape at all. Puff! Zi Yan vomited a large mouthful of blood. On the other side, the god of wind roared, "Get lost!" Wind moving ninth heaven. 9 tornadoes appeared on his body, supporting the sky and the earth. Each tornado carried a powerful storm power, as if they had really turned into wind dragons, sweeping in all directions. They wanted to blow away the 3 true flames. The people of the Purple Mountain all knelt on the ground. No, this is not true. Immortal Gazing Mountain. Black Lotus was dumbfounded. In his opinion, these Earth Immortals would instantly capture Lin Xian. As for whether or not these Land Immortals would escape, he wasn't worried at all. No matter how he tried to escape, he wouldn't be able to escape Immortal City. At that time, he would have a chance to capture the other party. However, things went beyond his expectations, because he found that not only did these Earth Immortals fail to capture Lin Xian, but they were also beaten up miserably. When he saw it, he exclaimed in shock, "Immortal flame," and it was a monstrous immortal flame. This kind of flame was already a threat to him. That's right, he might not care about one immortal flame, but with countless immortal flames, even he had to avoid them. Damn it, how could this kid have so many immortal flames? What did he get? Previously, Lin Xian had disappeared for nearly 100 years. He must have had a fortuitous encounter. Could it be that he had obtained the immortal inheritance? He stared at mortal God and shouted coldly, "Aren't you curious? After he obtains the immortal inheritance, you and I will be able to advance further. I just want the power of an immortal. Once I condense the power of an immortal, I will have a chance to become immortal. I don't need the inheritance of others." Mortal God said coldly, "Idiot, is it so easy to condense the power of an immortal? That kid is definitely lying to you." Black Lotus was so angry that he was depressed. This guy is too stubborn. Under the Shamisen flame, the 3 Earth Immortals in front of him had no power to resist. They were injured and severely injured, especially Zi Yan. She couldn't believe it. She thought of Yu Xian was injured by the Shamisen flame. However, he was much stronger than Yu Xian. Back then, she mocked and despised Yu Xian, calling her a trash. But now, if she couldn't escape, she would probably end up worse than Yu Xian, because Yu Xian would be able to recover in a few million years. As for her, she would be reduced to ashes. It was extremely difficult for her to cultivate to this point, so she couldn't die. With a roar, Zi Yan made a crazy decision. The immortal flame on her body instantly erupted. She began to burn her bloodline and life. In an instant, her body turned into a ray of light and flew into the distance. This time, as long as she didn't die, she would have a chance to recover at all costs. Boom. After colliding with the Shamisen flame, Zi Yan's body was torn into pieces. Some of her blood was instantly obliterated. However, a portion of them still managed to escape. She didn't even have time to say anything and instantly fled into the distance, because she was afraid that Lin Xian would hunt her down. "Lord," the people of the Purple Mountain exclaimed. They were all terrified and desperate,